Welcome to the 40K Shop Talk podcast, broadcasting live from the Manufactorum.
I'm your host, Austin, joined by my co-host, Rob. Join us as we talk shop about new codexes, units, army lists, and general strategies. If it's 40K related, you'll hear it here. All right, how's everybody doing tonight? Rob, you good?
I'm good. How about you?
Yeah, dude, I'm good. So today we're going to do something a little bit different. We have a little surprise for a friend of ours, if he's listening. Brian, that's you. Tonight we're going to build a White Scars Space Marine list, and we're going to do it live, and we're going to do it for Brian. So shout out to him. This is a list Rob and I are putting together from some models that we've got lying around that eventually going to become Brian's to try to hook him and get him into this game.
Yep.
So let's see here. Okay, so yeah, we've got a list of some models, some older models we're going to start from, because I think this is going to be a really good exercise in, like, you don't always have to go and buy 30 boxes of the latest, whatever the latest model is for Space Marine. I think we can build a pretty darn good list using any model, and the Marine line is what, 500 models.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's massive.
500 units. So yeah.
Yeah. Like Austin said, this is a buddy of ours. He's been putting together some artwork for us for the show, and to show our thanks, we decided to supply him with a White Scars army that he can take and go play with. And we're excited to kind of come up with some ideas and play around with kind of what they have available to them. So between the two of us, we had kind of a bunch of bikes and things like that lying around. So we were debating on what would be more fun, White Scars or Raven Guard, or not Raven Guard,
The Dark Angels
Dark Angels chapter. Yeah, the
yeah,
Raven Wing.
yeah. I hate Dark
And
Angels. Just
we
kidding.
we eventually settled on White Scars.
Yeah, dude.
Mainly because we felt that like the line was bigger, could be expanded from easier, and um,
Yeah, for
who
sure.
doesn't like Space Marines? So
Yeah, dude. White Scars are awesome, man. Like, this is a great hook too, because you can go backwards in time and start looking at the
yeah.
30K novels, right?
Well, and that's the thing. Our buddy's a big fan of the 30K novels too. That's kind of why he's interested in this. And
Yeah.
if he hasn't gone and watched, what's the White Scar book?
Oh man,
Is it just called Scars? What
I believe it is.
it's the 30K White Scar book. And I'll be honest, I really never cared about White Scars ever until I read that book, and then I was like, oh my gosh, these guys are the coolest ever.
Yeah, for sure. So the novel is actually called Scars. So
Yeah.
it has a picture of the con on the front. It's by Neil Roberts, or no, it's by Chris Wright. And yeah, I think the cover art's by
Yeah.
Neil
If
Roberts.
you haven't, so you can kind of, it kind of revolves around with like kind of what's happening with Mortarion and, or not Mortarion. Well, Mortarion does make an appearance, but it's kind of what's happening with the Thousand Suns and
Yeah.
Prospero Burns. So it's kind of like, it's kind of something that happens on the side. Like if you think of like the Flight of the Eisenstein or Eisenstein or whatever you want to call it, how
Yep.
that kind of happens in parallel. So this kind of happens in parallel to this, right? The Khan kind of is trying to go warn his brother, who he's really close to, Magnus, about what's happening. And then he runs into a blockade of Alpha Legion. And it's just honestly that battle that they have is probably one of my favorite battles that I've read so far. The way they depict the way the White Scars, like their tactics and
Oh, their
strategy,
warfare. Oh yeah, for
and
sure.
like how like all their ships are considered like subpar, but you know, unbeknownst to like all the other chapters, they have like the best engines in the galaxy and they're the fastest. So
Yeah, dude, it's a great peek back into this make believe history. So there's actually also some 30K or some 40K novels, I believe, too, that were published a little before. So
mm-hmm.
it's a great stepping off point.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for a good White Scar story and you're not quite there in the lineage of books, you can always skip forward to that one. Um, it's a solid read. Anyway,
Okay. Yeah. So, all right, cool. So that's some cool lore stuff. We know that The White Scars have their cons and all that. Should we start talking about a little bit of the fundamental rules just to, you know, lay the groundwork here?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so your White Scars chapter tactic is units with this tactic are eligible to declare a charge in a turn at which they advanced or fell back.
Which
That's
is
crazy
really
good.
strong. Really, really strong.
Yeah, so I like that. And models with this tactic do not suffer the penalty to hit when firing assault weapons in the same turn they advanced. So, oh boy. So you can move, you can advance, you can shoot your gun still, and you can charge. That's wild.
Yeah, it's really, really solid tactics on their end. And that's, I don't think we're not even including their sub chapter tactics, which they are
Right.
one of the books that have the expansions or what it be
Yeah,
called.
so they do have a supplement, and now I'm sure these will only be valid for a little while as they continue to roll out new codexes for this edition, but it is still valid via some strange, trail of FAQ and erratas. So we're just going to read it and can always go see the erratas. But yeah, so basically, let's see. Their additional bit here is that while the assault doctrine is active, when resolving an attack with a melee weapon, such and such, add one to the damage characteristic of that weapon. So
Right.
we don't have to get too much into the doctrines. I believe everything is streamlined now, where you start in Devastator, you have to move to tactical. So turn two, you're in tactical, and in turn three, you can opt to turn to the assault doctrine or remain in tactical. So on turn three, plus one damage for your melee weapons. This is bonkers, man. This is so good. This is good on just guys punching with their fists. This is good on things with 3, 4 damage weapons. So these guys are really, really badass. I mean, we have melee strats. We have all kinds of stuff to get into, but you're fast and you hit hard, and you can still shoot on your way into combat, basically. So these are some pretty cool tactics.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like them. Just digging into it. The strats that they have, I believe they have ways to expedite the assault doctrine with their
Yes.
custom strategies, and I'd have to go and find exactly which one it is, but
Hmm.
I know that that's a flexibility that they have to them, which can make their charging really good.
Yep.
And you know, a lot of the bikes that I have the grav guns to them because back in the day, grav guns were the thing. But I really
Hmm.
think these guys are going to shine with multi meltas and melta guns, specifically melta
Oh
guns,
yes,
so that they can run and shoot. And like you said, they don't suffer the modifiers for running and shooting.
for sure.
So, I mean, I think we should just jump into the list building section.
Cool. Okay, yeah, let's do that. One thing we talked about before that's kind of a shame that isn't in this edition is certain units becoming troops. Like,
Hmm.
back in the day, I think sixth edition, there were all kinds of ways to make units like bikes or elite units into troops. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, they missed that mark, which is, I think, a shame. It would have been great to just been able to say all my bikers are troops.
Well, and not only
But
that too, like used to be able to take like librarians on bikes and stuff like that
mm,
too. Like all that kind of stuff is gone. There's a chaplain on the new bike.
yep, that's true.
Um,
Yep.
but I'm gonna be honest, I'm probably gonna push the librarian aspect here because I feel that White Scars have a lineage in their psychers. It's a very important part of their army makeup. One
Yes,
of the only chapters that even when psychers were said they couldn't exist, they just completely ignored that and continued with their psychers. So I personally would like to see a librarian in this list with our con on bike. um,
yeah, I
I
think
think
that's a
that
great
that
place
would
to
be
start.
my first two HQs that I would recommend.
Yeah, I think so. Just to touch on the Kanon bike, it's a 14-inch moving captain. So
Yeah.
great stat lines. Uh, six
Yeah,
wounds.
let's start with the con on bike. let's
Cool.
let's just jump off there. So what do we want to do for the con? He's going to be our warlord.
Yep, for sure.
um Yeah, so he comes with a pretty good spear already. The con spear, which is, geez, uh, on the charge, I believe it gets times two strength, minus three AP, D3 damage. Um,
Mm,
that's good. I don't mind it. There's a relic that basically makes it times two strength all the time, which I kind of like.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
that's
I
a fine place to start.
I
The
wish we
Glaive
could
of
give him the
Vengeance.
scimitar of the con. I think that's maybe a better weapon, but that's okay. I think that's only on the foot cons.
Yeah, that's true. Yep. Okay, so he comes out swinging. That's possibly a good place to start.
Yeah, I mean, there's other things too. I don't know if you want to look through them.
Well, let's just start there, and then we'll talk about maybe going back and
Because
layering some auras.
you can make them 16-inch movement. There's the
That's
Wrath of the
true.
Heavens bike, which is
That
pretty
is true.
cool. Um,
So remember, so okay, yeah. So these guys can advance and charge, right? So this
right.
guy's going crazy far.
hmm
Um, there is another strat
Well,
called
and
ride.
they can fall back and charge too, which is really important.
Yes,
So this guy can like always be charging every one of his turns, fall back charge, which he probably should be doing.
that's true. I want to point out there's a couple strats that might be interesting if you're getting really tricky with this guy, and as you play this army more and more, you'll start to learn the nuances of things like heroic intervention. So there's a strat called Wind Swift for 2 CP that lets you move twice. You cannot charge, you cannot shoot, blah blah blah, but you can put yourself in range of a heroic intervention. So you could move. Let's say this guy does move 16. We move him twice. You move 32 inches, and if you position things right, he could be in range for a heroic intervention on their turn. Maybe he's
hmm
near an objective or he's backing a unit. So all that stuff is possible. There's also a strat to make a unit -1 to hit when they advance. You can use it on any unit. We'll probably talk about it later for bikes, but keep that in mind too. Um, yeah, so there's a lot of good stuff like that.
and something to keep in mind too, with specifically maybe with this con is White Scars also, I believe, have the ability to outflank some units.
Yeah, we will
So
definitely get into that.
you could just spitballing here. Let's say that you give him the bike that moves 16 inches. You can double move, so now you're moving like 32 plus whatever run move you got.
Yeah,
You could really just almost redeploy that con to like somebody's flank or even get in their back battle line, and then basically reinforce him with a unit of bikes coming in from outflank.
absolutely. And that's a 1 CP strat, and you can use it as many times as you want. So it's 1 CP, you put something in quote unquote outflank, and
Yep.
it just comes on like normal reserve, 6 inches from the battlefield edge, 9 away from an enemy.
Yeah,
So
it's
very
really
cool.
really good. So there's some stuff there to talk about. Um, as far as warlord traits, there's a lot of really good ones in here. Again, some of them you might read and at first you're like, that seems kind of weird, but you got to remember you can always fall back and charge. So
Yep.
you know these stuff starts taking their toll on things. But I really like this. Was it Tregorian Storm?
Mm-hmm.
Warlord makes a charge move and performs a heroic intervention. You can add D3 to their attacks characteristics until the end of the turn. And the reason I like that one is because if we're giving him this beat stick spear, he's going to be strength 8. He's got 4 attacks already. He's a space marine, so he gets what, 5 on the charge.
Yep. 5 on the
So this
charge.
makes him 6 to 8 attacks.
I like that.
And his spear, okay, spear doing D3 damage is the one thing I don't like. That's why I like
Yeah.
the flat 2 of the sword better. But I mean, man, he hits on twos. He's going to be wounding most things on twos. I believe he has a built-in. No, he doesn't because it's core. I don't know if they FAQ'd this because right now he rerolls hits for 1 for attacks made by models with the White Scar unit, right? Because he's not.
Oh,
We'd
I
have to
see.
check on the FAQ on that. I don't know if his became core only,
I
but
see.
as it says right now, it's still the old rules.
Sure. Yeah. Let's
I'm going
just
to assume
go
that
with
it's
that.
been FAQ'd.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, that being said, I mean, this guy can hit like a truck.
Don't
Kind of
forget too, the assault doctrine is +1 damage.
right. Yes. So
Yeah.
D3 plus 1. I mean, he will hit. He will hit very very hard, especially if he's coming in on an assault doctrine turn for sure.
Oof.
Um,
Yeah, I like that.
so he gets +1 to his saving throw for his buckler. I'm not too worried about his defenses. Iron Halo. He's pretty standard. I don't know. I like him. I think you can make him a beat stick. He can hit
For
really hard.
sure.
He's really fast. You can basically put him right where you want him.
Yep. And we talked about
I like
advance
this
and
guy.
charge. Yep.
This is how I would build him. I don't know if you have any other.
Nah, dude, let's do it. I
Those are
mean, what
fun.
feels better than when you're getting in the game to have a huge beat stick
Right.
hero that just
Someone that's just
flies
going to come in
around?
and
Oh
smash
yeah,
something. So
yeah,
I like him. So let's
yeah.
just go ahead and mark him down.
Cool. Oh, and he
Okay.
advances 6 inches too. Don't forget, he's a bike, so
Yeah.
the
Auto
bike hero
advance.
is auto. So he's charged. So he's base 20 inch flying around.
Yep. I mean,
Very
like
cool.
I'm not kidding when I say that you can basically put this guy where you want him.
Yeah, very
Um,
cool unit.
okay. So the next thing is the librarian.
Yeah.
Oh man, there are some choices here. I like Primaris librarians. I really like the Phobos librarian.
Oh, I love the Phobos librarian.
Can the Phobos librarian take the White Scar Storm Speaking discipline? I would assume
Yes,
so.
you can. Yep.
So
So this is from their supplement. This is the a unique spell tree in their supplement. So it's 6 new abilities. But yes, any type of librarian can take this from White Scars.
I mean, there's these spells for the most part feel a little more damaging.
They are,
Or
yeah.
adding to so like Ride the Winds I think is a good one. So if the manifest, select one of the friendly White Scar units within 12 of the psyker until the start of your next psychic phase. When you advance roll or charge roll is made, you can add 2 to that. So
Solid.
making yourself go even faster.
Yep.
Um,
And also it does it so yes, you do target a friendly unit within 12, but you don't need line of sight, which is important because if you infiltrate like a Phobos librarian, they can start up the board. You can pick somebody through a wall.
yes, there's also the Spirit of Corgus, or I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, so I
Whatever, dude.
apologize. But
Yeah.
so I like this one too because until the start of okay, so you cast it, cast on a 6, which is pretty doable, 18 inches,
Mm-hmm.
visible enemy unit. Until the start of your next psychic phase, subtract 1 from leadership characteristics of models in that unit, which whatever, don't care.
Sure.
And when resolving an attack made by a model in that unit, subtract 1 from hit rolls, so -1 to
Oh
hit.
yeah. That's
So
great.
I love I mean, coming from Age of Sigmar, anytime that you can -1 to hit, -1 to wound, stuff like that, I'm a huge fan. So I really like this spell.
It's the whole turn too. So whether that
So
unit
until your
shoots
next
and
psychic
charges,
phase, yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
Um, so there's some options there. There's probably some other ones here. Those were kind of the two that stuck out to me. You know, there's some straight damage ones that are pretty good, but I like force multipliers, so I was kind of looking at those two. The reason that I kind of like the Librarian of Phobos is because I believe he gets like the forward deployment, doesn't he?
He does. Yep. He can start hidden up the board somewhere in a building or yeah, very
Does he
good.
still have that? Yeah, concealed positions.
Yep.
So I thought he'd be fun. Plus, I mean, if I'm leaning into White Scars, this guy feels a little more White Scarry to me. Maybe not, but like the fact that he's kind of like up front and
Yeah.
I don't know, stealthier. I don't know. I
No, I
could be
think it's
talked
good.
into the other librarian, but I thought the Librarian of Phobos armor would be fun. Plus, you could always fall back on the Phobos spells because I know he's got a different one, and I know how much you love all those ones.
Yeah, dude, I am so in love with all of the Vanguard line or whatever they called it, all of the infiltrating stuff. So yeah, I think for sure, I would definitely take one. Now there used to be a trying to look here. Let's see. Um, I don't remember if you can take stuff out of the old book, but there used to be a relics list in the Space Marine book. See, this is part of the problem. Like, I don't remember what's current and what's been.
Sure.
Uh,
So what are you looking for specifically?
well, there used to be a cloak for white scars that added damage to your smites and stuff, so you could build a very offensive
Hmm.
uh, librarian. It added like +2 or something to your smite result. So
Was that
basically, you were always super smiting.
was that in
Well,
the White Scar book?
it used to be in the White Scars section of the main book. So I'm assuming that when they removed all that and put it in, in the supplement, I'll double check real
So they
quick.
have the
But
Mantle of the Stormseer, but that just adds 1 to your casting.
okay, so I maybe that must have been changed as it was moved. So uh,
Unless it's
that's
in
fine.
the Space Marine book. I mean, I can check here. I'm pretty sure they have White Scar relics in here.
Yeah, it's possibly. Something else to call out for that guy is there are some really cool warlord traits for Vanguard units, like which is what this guy is. He's like a anyway, he's like a Phobos unit or something. Um, there are some cool stuff. There's something like target priority, which I think is interesting. You basically pick your warlord, and add one to a hit roll for a unit within six of them. So you can basically infiltrate your warlord, and then when stuff gets close, you can like boost up its shooting, which is kind of cool. Um, yeah. Anyway, there's also some cool stuff like shoot and fade once per turn. I'm sorry, that's for your warlord. Lord of Deceit, where you can redeploy some things. So there is some trickery, and there are stratagems in this book to buy multiple warlords for people. So it could be kind of cool to maybe deploy some infiltrators with this guy, have him be the warlord, and then at the start of the first round, you Lord of Deceit and move him and the infiltrators somewhere else, which is kind of tricky. So there's some play there, but
Hmm. So I
anyway,
so we also I guess, are we done with HQs? Do you want to move
yeah,
on? Is there
yeah,
a
we'll
third
move
one you
on.
want to put in there? Can we have
No, I
three?
mean I would
It's been a
consider
while.
another librarian of some sort just as an offensive psychic output, guy like who could outflank. You could walk on the board edge. You could smite as a +1. They have some really nasty psychic powers,
Well,
but we'll see.
yeah, I mean, we also have the chief librarian upgrade that we could spend. There's also the chapter master upgrade we could spend.
That's true. Yep, that's
Um,
true. Let's move on for now and see where we end up.
okay.
Yeah.
So
So
we need three troops.
three troops.
Three
So
troops.
I do think that tactical marines have some play again. Being 2 wounds apiece now is a big deal.
Hmm.
They're pretty cheap. Obviously, there's a ton of Primaris troop options, but I think we're going to want to spend most of our points on bike units later. So I don't know that we should spring for 3 blocks of Primaris in this list.
Um,
Now, maybe.
yes.
Uh,
So here's the thing. I kind of like the idea of potentially outflanking tacticals,
I agree.
but man, I probably wouldn't hate having. Well, scouts with chain swords are options. No, wait, they're not. They're elite now.
Yeah, so let
Um,
me throw out one idea real quick.
assault
Um,
intercessors wouldn't be bad either,
yeah, that's very true. That's
especially with
true.
white scars. I know how much they love them. So the tactical squad. So here's the downside of the tactical squad, right? They don't really have chain swords
Right?
in an army that wants to be in close combat.
True.
Um, oh boy, they do get the special weapon, which is good. You can give a combi weapon to the sergeant, so you can get some more Melta fun. You could do five, so you don't get your special weapon at five though.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I don't know. So, what's your
So,
thoughts?
yeah, so I think you take a rhino, and I think you
Hmm.
take 10 tactical marines in the rhino.
Okay.
There's a stratagem for white scars called lightning debarkation. You can move after the transport move. You can get out after the transport moves. Now you can't charge, so that sucks. But you could get 10 tactical marines out. So turn 2, you're in the tactical doctrine. So your rapid fire weapons are going to be an additional -1. So you get 10 guys, combi plasma, or whatever. It's all rapid fire. You get out after the transport moves. So the transport moves, what do rhinos move? 10, 12 inches. You advance the rhino. You get everybody out 3 plus 6-inch move, plus you advance them for
Okay.
1 CP. For an additional CP, all of your rapid fire guns become assault that turn. And we know you don't suffer the penalty to move. So now you have 10 tactical marines that got out of a rhino, basically 30 inches plus 24-inch range. So you can hit any small unit on the board from your deployment zone for 2 CP. Now it's not amazing, but it's not expensive. It's a troop. And if they don't respond next turn, you obviously could charge in on turn 3 assault doctrine. You can try to sweep an objective. You have 2 units, a rhino and an objective secured unit. I think there's some play for at least one tactical unit in a
Okay.
rhino.
All right. All right. So, what are we giving them?
I would just take plasma because it's rapid fire, and I think you're going to use the strat to either these guys aren't going to shoot because strength four, no AP is not good.
So
In the
one plasma
tactical,
gun, no
yeah,
heavy.
nah, I don't think so. I think you just all go rapid fire so you can
Okay.
convert to the assault with the stratagem.
Let's see here. Just entering it in.
Yeah,
So for the sergeant combi plas,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, because you don't suffer any penalties.
And
So
you'd probably give him an Astartes chainsword because
sure,
can you do that still? Hold on, it's complaining at me. What's wrong with this? Oh, get rid of the bolt gun and the bolt pistol. There we go. So
there you
chain.
go.
So he's got a chainsword and a combi plasma. We have a plasma gun.
Yeah,
So this unit is 200 points plus the rhino. What do we want on the
okay.
rhino?
Just
Anything?
bare bones.
Stormbolter. Got it. All right, so it's one of our troops down. We still need two more.
Okay, one sec here. Let me look. Um, so well, you could do infiltrators with the librarian. Infiltrators are really good. I mean, there's a lot of high level play here. So I don't want to get too much into the stratagems of like or the strategy of like scoring secondaries, but if you put a unit of infiltrators on an objective at the top of one, you can basically get 2 or 3 points up on secondaries because of doing an action, and it's just such a huge swing. Like it puts your opponent really on the back foot when it comes to points.
All
So
right,
I'd say you put 5 infiltrators with the librarian.
five infiltrators.
Yeah.
All right, we need one more.
Um. One sec here. I mean, assault intercessors. You said right. I mean, they're good.
Yeah, we have assault
Uh,
intercessors. It could be just regular
you,
intercessors. So just five guys is pretty cheap.
you could. I mean, you could probably. I don't know what if we're trying to build from what the models we have, but
Oh, we have both of those.
you could definitely outflank 10 assault intercessors, or you could put 6 in an impulsor and then use the same lightning debarkation. I mean, you could probably even just run 10 of them up the board. um, it's tricky because I don't know if you want to go all in on them as an offensive unit or not. I'm torn on that because bikes with, well, there's Primaris bikes too, but there's a lot of stuff that hits just as hard. um, Maybe we come back to that, see what we have left.
All right, well, okay. Let's. I'm just gonna put five tacticals in there right now, just for something cheap to throw on the board.
All right, cool.
Okay.
So
So
should we
we are
move on
sitting
to
at
the bikes?
860. Well, yeah. Let's move on to the
Okay.
bike. So I've already started with one bike squad because we're gonna want that. So I have a five-man bike squad. The first bike squad that I took, I'm giving them uh, two meltaguns, and then Astartes chain swords was my plan
Yeah.
here.
Now let me look real quick. There's a. I'm gonna look at this while you get that in here. There's some sort of stratagem here for bike because they all have bolters, right? The bike units. Now where is it here? Well, I guess you could always use the same strat to make them all solid. I mean, that's a lot of bolter shots. That's a storm bolter basically per bike, right? So 1 CP. When a unit advances, all their weapons become assault. Like, yeah, that's rapid fire 2 becomes assault 2. So, well, not quite as good, I guess. Yeah, that's not that great.
Well, for five
I don't know.
bikers, we're looking. Let's see here. So I got the biker sergeant with the man. He got some options, doesn't he? You can give lightning claws, chain swords, power fist, thunder hammers. We'll just say chain sword,
Yeah.
and maybe combi melta. I'll have to look at my bits here for that, but let's not
Why
give him
not?
anything for now.
Yeah.
Gosh, a combi melta would be nice though.
Going old school here.
We'll see. We'll see what we got.
Yeah.
So this is 170 points. Um, I think we can build two of these meltagun units if you want. Let's see. It's complaining. Bike sergeant has too many selections. Okay.
I think you have to choose weapon or
Yep.
melee or combi, maybe.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're just gonna give the Astartes sword. And we're gonna make two of these. You good with that?
Yeah, I think so. Are we talking about the add-on bike yet? The add-on
The
attack
attack
bike,
bikes.
or is that separate
So
now?
I believe you can take them. You can take them with a squad. I'm pretty sure,
Yeah,
or
I
you can
wonder if.
create an attack bike squadron.
No, it may actually be better to take individual small units. We'll have to see, but
Well, that's another question I had too, because we only have so many fast attack slots that we might have to look at maybe putting in
oh yeah, yeah.
like some sort of vanguard wing here.
Okay, right. Well, we'll start with okay. Yeah, so you do have the, let's see, the Outriders are the new bikes. So your
Yep.
bike squads are now they did all get an extra wound, which was great. God, bikers are 3 wounds apiece now.
Yeah, they're really good.
They're actually really, really good.
Yeah, they're 3 wounds apiece. 3 up save. They're pretty durable. They have the twin bolters. You give
Yeah.
them the sword. They're good in combat with their -1. This is why I don't necessarily care about having the assault intercessors, because I feel like these guys should be filling that role for the most part. I mean,
Well, they do have a small amount of attacks, right? I think that's their downside. They don't have the
well, they have
primaris
3 on the
level.
charge
Okay.
because you
Do
get
they?
+1. Yeah, you get plus
Okay,
one for
yeah.
the Astartes chainsword, +1 for
Yeah.
charging. So it's not it's not terrible,
Oh, wait. Okay, hold on a second. Yeah, that's right. So the Astartes chainsword changed. It's now AP1,
right?
but that's not every model, right?
What do you mean?
Does every model have that? I think it's only the sergeant.
No, they all have it except for the Meltagun guys.
Oh, okay.
Up to 2 can have their bolt. So the Meltagun guys replace their bolt pistol with the Meltagun. So it's basically
Okay.
3 guys with chain swords and 2 guys with Meltaguns. Now, I guess we could just have nothing but chain swords, but I feel like those Meltaguns are going to be useful.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's great. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, because you're going to be advancing, charging, advancing, shooting without penalty.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. Wow, I didn't know that the old guys got the Astartes chainsword upgrade.
Hmm.
Dude, and the
Now,
assault doctrine, two
now
damage.
there's something to say because the bikes do have the twin bolters.
Yeah.
That maybe taking the Meltagun is unnecessary, but
Right, right.
I do like the Meltagun threat here because at 2
Sure.
shots, Meltaguns are really good.
Yeah,
Um,
might as well.
Plus,
Okay,
like
cool.
we said, we can always be turbo boosting and shooting because we can do that. So,
Yeah, all
all
right.
right.
I
So
mean, I like units of them.
I mean, we can make these squads bigger if we want to. I think you can include one attack bike is equipped. Yeah, I think for you have one attack bike. So I do have 2 multi meltas. So do we want to? We could throw those in these squads if you would like. Do
I
you have?
think you
Let me get
do.
out the list of what I got here.
Yeah, I do have
All
it.
right.
Okay.
So honestly, I kind of want to put. I want to. I want to put some stuff. All right. So let's give these guys the attack bikes. Let's do that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna give them the attack bike. Although I do think that there's something said for these attack bikes running around solo, but that's fine. Multi Melta,
Okay.
see attack bike with a multi Melta. All right, so we got 2 attack bikes with multi Meltas. Um,
Now, wait, real quick though, on the special weapon stuff, the grav gun is rapid fire. So if we are trying to use this unit as like a shooting unit, don't forget that that strat to make all your rapid fire into assault is valuable too. So
right, right,
if we
right.
do like the grav guns, we could use them, but that's fair.
Well, yeah, I do have a ton of grav guns, but I don't think I care.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I have basically 8 bikers at our disposal. So we've used 2. I mean, we could buff these up. Uh, 2 more bikes if we want to.
8 bikers total. So
So right now we have 2 with chain swords. We could bump it up to 4. So we'd
yeah,
have 4 bikers, the sergeant, so that's 5. Then we'd have the 2 meltagun, 6, 7, and then the attack bike for 9. So these are
yeah.
pretty big units.
Okay.
But I think that's okay.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I don't. Yeah,
They're
we'll have to see
they're
what else is
285
involved.
points right now, and we're
Okay,
sitting at
it's a lot, but
1270.
okay.
Okay. But that pretty much does it for the 2 bike squads.
Okay, and just so we know, the the attack bikes have 4 wounds. Man, these things got buffed.
Yeah, yeah,
This is great.
they're durable for sure. But the
And a
reason I
multi
like
melta.
I like upping
Um,
the number of bikes in this squads just because I like having. These are the bikes that you're going to be putting into the combat, right? So they're the ones that are
yeah.
going to be swinging in, and you're going to want all those guys hitting with their swords. Anyway,
Yep, and you can fall back and charge, and just so everybody knows, you can fall back and shoot with a 1 CP strat from the supplement. So the Melta is really nice because you can fall back just over an inch away and fire in that Melta range. So you get the bonus to damage. You get, you know, uh, yeah, that's really good because Melta now is D6 damage, but D6 plus two, I believe, if you're in half range. So very very good stuff.
all right. The next thing I would really like to add here is the Storm Talon gunship.
Oh yeah, we are going old school. I love these
We,
things.
we are, but
This is good.
I love this, especially in a White Scars army. I just think it looks so thematic, and I still think these are good little ships, personally. So
Okay,
let's
yeah,
see.
let's dig in.
I think I like the Skyhammers over the Typhoons.
Okay, so I have to refresh myself on what the options are here. So it comes with the
Does it,
Skyhammer.
man? Does it
Uh,
have twin assault cannon? Yes. So twin assault cannon, Skyhammers, I think is what I want.
okay, so Skyhammers are heavy three, strength seven, -1 D3, +1 to hit against other aircraft. Um, and the Typhoons are, what is this? Heavy two, basically, strength eight. So, um, uh, hmm. Well, okay, so you have your assault cannons. I mean,
Well, you
God,
gotta remember the Typhoons are 20 points more. So is it worth 20 points for that?
nah.
I don't know. I don't think so. I like
I
these
don't
ones.
think so. No, I don't think so. I think these guys don't go after a toughness eight monster or something, right? They go after something that their strength seven and strength six can pick at.
Right.
So turn
Plus,
one.
plus for our next thing, I'm gonna suggest that we add some actually land speeder Typhoons.
Oh man, here's our anti tank. Okay.
So let's see, land speeder Typhoon. Okay, so what do we got? I think we have to go back to the fast attack here,
Yeah. Now these can be taken in a unit, so a unit of 1 to 3.
which we're going to, I
Right.
think, take.
I agree to fit in our four sword chart here.
Yeah, we're gonna take three of these bad boys. Um,
Yeah.
do we? Maybe the multi meltas. I'll have to look at what I got, but I think they're heavy bolters right now. So let's just go ahead and give them heavy bolters. We're gonna take three of these bad boys. Um, and you might be saying, "Oh, land speeders." I still think land speeders are good. I think they're better, obviously, in Raven Guard, but
Yeah, that's fair.
um, I still think this is solid. And we can look into what it's going to take to make these multi meltas, because I think obviously the multi melta is a little better than the heavy bolter.
Well,
Heavy bolters are good though, and they're cheap.
they're good. And turn one, strength five, -2, 2 damage. Now
Right.
don't forget that same strat I keep saying, you're going to use this stratagem every single turn. You're turning a unit shooting into assault. You can turn heavy into assault. So now all those heavy bolters can become assault three.
Well,
That's
and the
pretty
same
good.
same with their typhoons, which are all heavy as well.
Right, exactly. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's play there for sure. The question is, what are they going to be doing? Are you going to use them to zip around and, have 6 assault shots to break open transports at strength 8? Or are you going to pick around with heavy bolters?
Honestly, I think these guys' primary job is to soak a lot of fire from your bikers. Honestly, they're kind of scary. They can be dealt with, so people are going to try to deal with them because if they're ignored, they're just going to put 6 missile shots a turn into something, and that's no fun for
Yeah,
anybody.
yeah,
So they are going to draw some attention, which is kind of what you want them to do anyway.
yeah. You're going to
Um,
make a -1 to hit with that strat, probably, right?
yep, that's a
Yeah,
good
that's
place
okay.
to use the strat.
6 wounds, T6, okay.
Yeah, I like. I mean, I like them. I
Let's
think
do
they're
it.
fun. So we
Oh,
are.
dude, you know what? You could always outflank them too. If you're
We
up
could.
against a list that's just nothing but dark lances, you could be like during deployment, 1 CP, any White Scars unit outflank, and then turn two, roll up
Yeah.
safely with your missiles.
I think these guys also just fall right in the line with a White Scar army too. I think they're going to look great on the board with
Oh
everything
yeah,
else, and I mean everything in this army so far, aside from like the tactical Marines, are moving like up to 16 inches or so. Like everything is fast,
yeah.
and you're gonna have to like start playing around with that speed. All right, so
Where are we
this
at?
is this is basically what I had in mind for a generic list, and we're sitting at 1765, which is actually quite a bit under what I thought we'd be at this point.
Right.
Um, so we
Okay.
have roughly 235 points still to spend. So we could go back and
Okay.
look at our troops. We could maybe upgrade this other tactical squad and make it a second 10 man
Mm-hmm.
in a rhino because I know you like that. So we'd have two rhinos. Add some.
Uh-huh.
Let's see what that looks like here. So dedicated
Hmm.
transport. Let's add the rhino. Give it the storm bolter, and then let's up these tactical marines to 9. Give it a special. Oops, I guess 8. And we're going to combi plasma and plasma gun. Personally, I would prefer Meltas here, but I,
That's fine. Yeah, I mean, just do the Meltas then. Maybe one of each or both, or just go all Meltas. I mean, Melta's so good in this edition, and if you can, you're probably going to be using. So I was just coming at it from the
it's the same
top.
price, so it really doesn't matter.
Then let's take the Melta because realistically, you're probably not going to use the turn rapid fire to assault strat on them anyway. But I just liked it as an option.
Sure,
Yeah, it's fine.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
We'll figure that out. I mean, that's minute detail. I personally like Melta because I mean plasma is good, but I like Melta, especially these guys. You're probably going to want to be up close and personal. Okay, so we got two tactical squads and rhinos.
yeah,
We have 45 points now, and
yeah.
that's with
Okay.
the infiltrators, which this feels pretty solid. Um, maybe
Oh,
at this point,
what's the upgrade of the librarian? There's a master up.
yeah, I was talking about
Shoot.
that. So this is probably a good point to look at that right now. So the
Yeah.
reason I like this because you can take an extra spell, and I kind of pointed out two spells that I already like, but there's other spells, and then you can cast an extra spell.
Yeah.
Let me flip over to it here.
So you can always two powers off the bat with the Phobos librarian, I believe. You can manifest two, attempt to deny one. Smite and two powers. That's the base librarian.
Yeah, so Chief Librarian, this model knows one additional psychic power from the chosen discipline can attempt to deny one additional psychic power in your opponent's psychic phase. Oh, that's sad. So he can't cast an extra one. That's okay.
No, but there is always, I believe, the base book. There's one CP you can always cast an extra power. I think that's in almost every base book.
Got it.
But so there's something interesting about this. And you do have to take it from the same tree. So you would be taking another Phobos power.
I
I
would I
mean,
would spend the CP. I'm sure they have it, but I would give this guy the Psychic Mastery Warlord trait too, just a +1 to cast because that's always great.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, the Marine powers are sixes and
In
sevens,
addition, you
so
can give
that's
the Psychic
fine.
Mastery Warlord trait. Yeah, I'd definitely do that. The Neural Shroud, don't care. Increase the range of the Psychic Hood to 24. I don't think I care.
Yeah, I mean it's okay, but at this point, I'll
What
just
is
take the
what does the
CP.
Psychic Hood do? I mean,
Well, I mean you get
it's
to
a hold on.
plus something to deny within
Each time you
range.
deny the witch test is taken, if the unit attempting to manifest the power is within 12, you can add 1 to deny. So 24-inch deny at -1.
I mean he's starting up the board.
Yeah, I
I don't know about
guess. I
that.
feel like honestly, wasn't there a White Scar specific one that gave you another +1 to cast?
There is, and that's a relic. That's their mantle.
The
Yeah.
mantle. Psychic has taken mana. Psychic spell attempting to manifest psychic power from the storm. Oh, only from the storm, but you add 1 to the total. I would take that
Okay.
personally. So now you get +2 to cast as long as you're casting the ones from your discipline, which honestly means you're probably going to always get it off. And it really just reinforces the fact that he's like a super strong caster.
Yeah, I think that's cool. Um, I do want
And
to throw out
how
an
many points was
alternative.
it? How many points is that upgrade, by the way?
I think it's 35. But it's roughly what we have remaining. I
Um,
do want to throw out an
okay.
alternative though for this guy.
Okay.
Just as like, so let's say we're on the 3 power relic +1 stuff. If you choose to take things out of the obscuration discipline, so this is the Phobos
Oh my
discipline.
gosh. Sorry,
Um,
it's 25 points. So we actually still
25.
have 20 points left.
That sounds like a power fist or something.
Yeah, it does. Sure
Yeah.
does.
Okay, so let me go through this real quick. So there's six powers you can take as a Phobos from the Phobos tree.
Hmm.
Some of these are pretty tricky, so I want to just read off a couple. So imagine that we went with this tree instead. I'm not saying we have to. Here's the three that I'd take. Uh, there's one called Tenebra's Curse. Now it is a 7 to pull off, so with a +1 you're looking a little better, but that's still kind of eh. Anyway, you pick something within 18 inches and you subtract 2 from advance and charge rolls, which I think is pretty cool. So if he's starting up the board, anything within 18 could be -2 to advance and charge roll. So you could be slowing them. Like the trick used to be you cast this on a screen unit and then everything behind it is also slowed.
Yep,
So that's
it's
interesting.
it is.
There's also another one called Temporal Corridor, which is on a warp charge of 5. So it would be a 4. So you're always going to basically get it. And now this isn't on an offensive strat, but you pick something within 6 inches of you and you basically make it double move. You can't advance, you can't charge, but you target like the infiltrators that started on this objective, and now all of a sudden they can go 18 inches to another objective in your
Right.
psychic phase. That's pretty good. That could be a late game play. Um, let's see. There's another one that basically is called shrouding, and again, warp charge is 6, so very low 5. Uh, you pick a unit within a Phobos unit. So again, the infiltrators or himself, and you basically can't shoot it unless it's the closest. So if it's really important that you keep those infiltrators on that objective that turn, we know that everything else is super fast in our army, so you could target that unit on the objective, and now they just straight up can't shoot it. So you're guaranteed the points, you're guaranteed to complete your action. So, it's kind of interesting. And you do still have access to a fourth power here. Not saying we would use it, but you pick something and it becomes -1 to hit.
Hmm.
Uh,
So I, I just want to throw out there. So you mentioned the one where the unit couldn't advance, or what was the other part of it?
-2 to advance and charge.
-2 to advance and charge. Okay, so I'm going to do you one better.
Hmm.
Blasting Gale is a White Scar ability.
Okay.
They can't advance, and when they charge, it's only a D6 charge.
All right. So we're back in that tree. Okay. Yeah. No, that's good. Just wanted to walk through the options because there's stuff
So
there.
no, there are a lot of good options there, but I just wanted to throw that out
Oh,
there
yeah.
because
That's good.
when you're talking, because I know how much you like that, but this is just a little bit better.
It is.
Um, Also, the another thing here that I like, especially when you start getting talking about the master librarian with the +2 to cast, if you go that route,
Mm,
um, you could go like you said, attacky, right? So you could take like lightning call, warp value of 7. Uh, Enemy units within 18 suffer D3 mortal wounds. If that unit is not destroyed, roll a D6. On a 4 plus, it suffers one more mortal wound. If that unit is still not destroyed, roll D6, 5 plus, and then
yeah.
6 plus, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it has some
That's cool.
potential there. Just do a little extra wound. Let's see, Storm Wreath, casting value of 6. If manifest, select friendly white scar within 12 until the start of your next second phase. Enemy units cannot fire Overwatch at that unit. And after that unit finishes a charge move, for each model that the unit select one enemy unit within 1 and roll a d6 on a 6 that suffers one mortal wound. Don't necessarily care, but really the thing that you
Right.
care about here is the Overwatch. So when you're charging in that big, like, 9-man unit of bikers into something, popping this and charging in is really good.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Hmm.
Um, See, did we say that White Scars could fall back and shoot still normally?
There's a strat for it. No, not normally, but you can for 1 CP. Any unit
Okay,
can
but
fall
they can
back and
fall
shoot.
back and charge always.
Yep. And they can
So
advance and
fall back and
charge.
shoot would be really good for your land speeders if they get stuck in the combat. You can fall back and shoot for free. That's good.
Yep.
And then Eye of the Storm was the last spell here that we haven't really talked about, and that's warp value of 6. If manifest, roll a d6 for each enemy unit within 12 of the psyker, adding 1 to the result. If that unit can fly on a 4 plus, suffers 1 mortal wound. So I probably wouldn't take that. But the
Mm-hmm.
Lightning's Call and Smiting, and I believe on your smites they're going to be empowered if you roll a 8,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you get plus.
Yeah. If you get a 2.
You only get plus
No.
1.
Yeah. You get +1.
Okay,
Well,
whatever. I don't know.
okay.
Honestly, there's a lot of good spells here, and technically you're going to know 3, so you could actually take some of the ones that Austin was talking about, or you could take 2 of these ones here. There's a lot of good synergy. I really like this guy. The only thing I don't like is that he's not on a bike. If he could be on a bike, he'd be the best.
Yeah,
Um,
dude.
and I don't even think they have jetpacks for these guys anymore.
Nah, you
So
lost a
like
lot of good
there's
stuff.
literally nothing you can do to keep them with the rest of your army, which is why we both really like the one in Phobos, because you can kind of start him in a position where he's going to be ready to basically support your bikes as they run up the field. However, downside of that
Yeah,
is it's going to kind of tip your play of where you're going to be moving to.
right,
But
right.
yeah, I mean, like I said, we got 20 points left over. Like it's probably like a power fist or something, but I think this is a super fun list.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll we'll get this thrown together. We'll see about what kind of paint jobs we can do for it or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, we're gonna be sending this off to our buddy Brian. Is there anything you want to add about this list before we start wrapping it up?
Um, not really. I mean, it leaves you in a great spot to upgrade for the future. You know, if you're really into this list, you can always, go buy a Primaris unit of bikes and then you can try that out, maybe
Yep.
swap out the Storm Talon here and there. Or you can go buy if you want to do up a nice customized hero, you could go get the new chaplain on bike, right? We still have an HQ slot open. So
Right.
you could
Yeah, and he
throw
would
him
be good
in.
too. There's a lot of litanies that he could really use to
Yep.
support these guys.
And litanies are like psychic powers for anybody who's not sure, and
Yeah.
they kind of go off without being interrupted. So you roll at the beginning of the turn, and they go off. But yeah, there's a lot of good litanies, so that's cool. You can even make him another beat stick hero, right? If you want to build him up to be like a smash face guy, you could totally give him a relic and a warlord trait and go at it with extra attacks. So it leaves a good. It's a good entry point, I think, army, and I
Oh,
think
for sure. And there's nothing about this list that isn't fairly straightforward. And
yeah,
I think our next episode we should go into like deeper tactics on how best to use this army, what
yeah,
secondaries you want to look at, how your deployment strategy looks like, how your stratagems play out, and like when you want to use them in what scenarios. And we'll kind of talk about the general strategies of this list that we built and how to basically make it function on the table.
yeah.
Um,
I think that's a great idea. Um, I am curious while you have the point stuff up. What's the new chaplain on bike run? Do you know?
the
What's he
new
roughly point?
chaplain. Yeah,
Yeah,
hold on,
it.
let me
I
pull it
guess
up.
it'll be Primaris chaplain on a bike, but I'm just kind of curious how he is versus the Storm Talon because I would like to play around with.
Primaris chaplain on the bike is 115.
That sounds very close to what the flyer is, so it
The
might
flyer
be
is 165. I mean, we could make some alterations to this list. I'm sure there's like we could take away from the tactical squads or something, or maybe drop this infiltrator squad for just like 5 tacticals. We could probably
yeah.
squeeze a chaplain if you want. We could
Okay,
play
I'd like
around
to
with that.
think about it because, and maybe we can come back to it next week because
Sure.
it is kind of cool that he could roll up with your two large bike units, giving them extra damage, extra attacks,
All right. All
extra
right.
+1 to wounds. That's kind of
Let me
cool.
just give me 1 second. Let me tweak this a
Yeah,
little bit. So let me throw in the chaplain on bike. Let's
yeah.
see, chaplain on bike. There he is.
And I want
Wait,
to
no,
definitely
that's
for
a
lit.
is that a regular chaplain? Yeah, hold on. I'm looking for the
Okay,
Primaris chaplain on bike.
yeah. I don't know what they called it now. They might have called it something different.
It's literally called the Primaris chaplain on
Okay.
bike. So he's
Let's keep
115 points. He's not upgraded yet or anything, but that's
right.
okay. So let's say you wanna play around with
Y-
dropping the infiltrator squad. That'll save us a ton of points.
Yeah, possibly. I still think that you can keep your Phobos librarian starting up the board
Oh,
and
the
then
bikes are gonna
also
be there
safe.
right off
Yeah,
the bat. Like you should
yeah,
be able to hide them in an L or something.
absolutely.
I don't have a problem with that at all.
Okay, cool.
Let's see here. Tactical squad. So, okay, we need 65 points now.
You can always cut the 10 mans down to like eights or sevens because we're not banking on the heavy and special.
Well, you don't.
Um,
You only get the special at 10.
oh, they changed that.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
So
new.
that's okay. I mean, maybe a bike here and there. We'll see.
Let's
I
see
want
here.
to call it a couple litanies real quick while we're looking at this. So this guy's definitely going to want the Exhortation of Rage. It's a 6-inch bubble and melee attacks for core units within there. Add 1 to the wound roll. So when those bikes do get into combat, now we're talking +1 to wound. Like now our strength 4 is doing some work. So that's always good. Um, let's see. The other one I really like is let's see. I like.
You can put 2 5-man tacticals in a single rhino, correct?
Yes, you can. Actually, I don't know if you can do that anymore. It's possible that you can't do that anymore. I mean, bikers are 20 some points apiece, right? Can't we just drop two of them and
I don't want to drop bikers.
yeah.
I feel like
Well,
that's the core of the army. The troops are, in my opinion, whatever.
let's get these
I
guys.
mean, I basically I'm taking two 5-man tacticals and one 10-man. The two
Yeah.
rhinos still. So everything, all that stuff, kind
Okay.
of stays the same, except for I'm pretty sure you can put two tacticals in
You
because
probably
you
can.
can't you can put a tactical squad in a hero, right? So
Oh yeah, yeah,
we
you're
also,
right.
we also have drop pods. I know we didn't talk about that, but I think rhinos fit white
Yeah.
scars more.
Yeah, and I like them because of the objective play we'll get into next week. We're the transport podcast, right? We have to stay true to our
Um, so I'm gonna give
Okay.
this. I mean, so really we didn't lose anything. Like the sergeant still has a melta-gun, so there's still technically two melta-guns in this.
Sure.
And then the thing I do like about having two 5-mans in the Rhino is that, in fact, I'd almost consider dropping the other tactical down to another 5-man with a sergeant with a Melta and having like 4 5-mans because then you can kind of tactically drop dudes out on objectives as needed.
Sure. Okay.
But I
Yeah,
guess
let's
you
start
can
with
always
that.
combat squad too.
You
What's the
can, but I believe
bonuses?
it's a CP now. I'm not sure. I'm not gonna. That's changed a bunch, but I think you have to do it mid
I'm
game or
gonna
something.
I'm
Maybe
gonna
not.
play with this. I kind of
Okay.
I'm gonna do these little 5-man tacticals. That's my play.
Okay. Uh, okay. So in the meantime, hoping we can get to the points there. Here's what I think we should take on the chaplain. Uh, Exhortation of Rage, of course. That's going to be +1 to wound for all your melee attacks. Bikes are core, right? God, I hope so. That would that
Bikes.
that would
God, I
suck if
hope
they're
so.
not.
I think they are.
They've got to be. Okay, so um, let's see. So you always know Litany of Hate. Okay, so that's
Mhm.
reroll hit rolls within 6. That's so good.
Oh, you know what the best part about this is?
Mm.
We can upgrade him to a Master of Sanctity if we want.
Ooh, if we have the points.
Yeah, we have 25 points exactly.
All right, let's do that. So now we get to.
Can we have two upgrades like that in the same detachment? Do you know? Do you remember?
I don't remember. Let's assume we can. I don't know.
Okay.
Uh, I think the limitation is you can't have the same one in the
I
same
feel like I
army.
feel like you can't have like two librarians.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to read through these real quick while we verify some of that. So we're going to keep the Litany of Hate, which is what you always have. 6 inches, reroll all hits. And we're going to take Exhortation of Rage, which is 6 inch aura for core, add 1 to wound rolls. So now when those bikes do get into combat, they're rerolling all their hits, and both units are rerolling all their hits, and they're adding 1 to wound. So this is very, very good. And if you're on the Assault Doctrine, you're at 2 damage, extra AP with those chain swords, so you're AP2. This is really solid. So I think we definitely do that. Now the trick is when you upgrade the chaplain, I believe there's a bonus you can give him, right? Where you can actually cast 2 litanies. Now that's the thing I need to check on. So I have to find where that is exactly.
Yeah, it seems like we can. We just can't have more than one.
All right, cool. So the Master of Sanctity, that's what it's called. So let's see. No, what do we give him? Yes. So he starts. So he gets the Master of Sanctity ability for up. That's what we're buying with our 25 points. In your command phase, if he's on the battlefield, you can recite 1 additional litany.
Right.
Perfect. Boom.
Yep.
So
Sure
now
enough.
every turn he's reciting, reroll all hits in melee and I'm sorry, and add 1 to wound in melee. I think that's a solid pick. You get that with your upgrade. Yes, you can buy this guy a warlord trait and a relic. Um, we have to compare that to whether or not the one we're purchasing for the librarian is better.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Can you only use that stratagem once then, or can we buy
Uh,
more?
you can buy as many relics as you want, but you can only upgrade one warlord
One warlord.
in addition. I believe. Actually, there may still be a stratagem in the core book. So there's a core book stratagem and there's a supplement stratagem to do it. So actually, you can upgrade. You can have a total of 3, but
Potentially.
one has to be to the same guy. Actually,
So
no. Hold on.
it's really tough too what to give this guy because you can give him that or his mace, Chronium Arcanum or
Yeah.
whatever it is, which is amazing. It's a great weapon and it's a total beat stick. But man, this Emperor's Judgment. Maybe it's the Mortarian player in me who looks at this and
Uh-huh.
oh man, each time you make an attack made with the each time an attack is made against the bearer, so anytime they're attacking him,
Uh-huh.
they can't re-roll any hits, wounds, or damage rolls.
It's very good.
And in addition to that, every time a unit within 6 inches of him makes a morale test, they have to roll 2d6 and discard the lowest.
Also very good.
Which wasn't there. There was a spell earlier that I was like, oh, they was it the Overwatch spell that also does? No, it was -1 to wound or to hit. So the
Yes, that
librarian
in
had a
addition. Yep.
spell that, in addition to the -1 to hit, it also was -1 to their bravery. So you could
Yes,
see
that's
these
correct.
two almost working in tandem together.
Okay. Well, you can buy as many relics as you want, so let's just throw it on because we
Maybe,
can.
but also
Yeah.
his Arcanum is really good too. The question is, do we want this guy to beat face or do we want him to? I don't know. The beat face is really good. I think we want him to beat face.
I think you do. I think he's going
Yeah,
to guarantee that everybody around him is hitting hard. He's going to
because
go in. He just
because
hits.
this guy and your so like your con can lead one bike squad and this guy can almost lead the second bike squad,
Yep.
and you can just run around the board hitting stuff in the face,
Yeah.
and it's good, it's good. I like it.
Cool. So we're adding him. So that's good. I think that's a solid addition. And it's a new model. It's a fun model. It's
It
another
is.
hero.
It is.
So,
But yeah, I
yeah.
mean, we're at 2,000 points now. We made some
Boom.
tweaks. We might have some more tweaks when we come back next week. We'll see
Yeah.
where we land. And then I gotta go back and look at my models and see what we
See what we
actually
can put
have.
together. Yeah.
Um,
We'll make it work.
yeah, I mean these bikes I'm not worried about because I can do some easy like hand swaps for the chain swords and stuff. That's
Yeah.
easy stuff. Definitely have the rhinos. We definitely have the land speeders. The tactical marines, I'm sure I have. I'll just have to dig them
Yep.
out. Librarian and Phobos armor, I'm pretty sure I have one of those lying around. The Kanon bike is probably going to have to be a custom build.
Yep. Maybe I can take care of that. We'll take a look.
And the chaplain on
Same with the
bike,
chaplain.
yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not
we'll have
sure
to
what's
take a
going to
look.
happen there, but I
Well, we
think the
can
rest of
always
the
figure
stuff
that out.
that we have, and boy, is this. I think this is a really fun army, especially for someone just getting into the game. It's
Oh yeah.
fast, it hits hard, it's got a lot of shooting, a lot of punch, and it should be able to play objectives really well with its speed.
Yep. I'm excited to talk about that next time. So, all right, you want to wrap it up there? We'll call it.
Yeah, we can call it.
All right, cool. Well, thank you. And Brian, this one's for you. So we'll see y'all next week.